First item of business tonight is district reports. Dr. Galligan.
Good evening, President Carver, governing board members, and guests. Tonight we are excited to share an overview of K-8 student achievement in Deer Valley. This presentation will highlight how our elementary and middle schools are building strong academic foundations and providing opportunities that prepare students for success in high school and beyond. The purpose of this presentation is to review K-8 assessment results, showcase specialized programs and supports, and celebrate points of pride from across our schools, illustrating how our students are growing academically on their pathway to high school success. Tonight's agenda begins with an overview of the state assessments that measure student growth in K-8, followed by highlights of programs and supports that enrich their learning. We will also celebrate points of pride from each region, showing the ways Deer Valley schools are preparing students for their future success. We're going to start with assessments. Our students take 3 statewide assessments during their K-8 years that build upon one another. DIBELS tracks foundational reading skills in the early grades. AASA measures growth and proficiency in English language arts and math through the middle grades. And AZ-SCI captures cumulative science understanding in grades 5 and 8. Each play an important role in preparing students for future academic success. This slide highlights the importance of looking at both proficiency and context when evaluating student outcomes in our elementary and middle grades. Proficiency acts as a checkpoint showing whether our students in grades K through 8 are on track and laying the foundation for success on the ACT in grade 11. That's the assessment we talked about at our last board meeting. But proficiency alone does not tell the full story. Context adds meaning by considering broader factors, looking at DVUSD's own 3-year trends, comparing results to the state averages, peer district national benchmarks, and accounting for the variabilities that sometimes happen in our school year. Together, proficiency and context provide a more complete and accurate picture of student achievement. This combined DIBELS K-3 data chart shows Deer Valley students outperforming national averages at the start of the school year. Fewer of our students begin in the well below category, and more are already at or above benchmark. Being at benchmark means that students are on track in the essential reading skills such as phonics, phonemic awareness, decoding, and fluency that are predictive of later reading success. This reflects the strong foundation in early literacy being built in our classrooms across our schools. This is a cool chart here. The beginning of the year DIBELS data shows Deer Valley students performing above national averages in grades 1 through 3, with more students reaching benchmark and above benchmark levels. While kindergarten results highlight a higher percentage of students entering our schools well below benchmark, our schools quickly close gaps in the early grades, as shown by stronger outcomes in grades 2 and grade 3. These results reinforce the emphasis we place on early literacy support and targeted interventions to ensure every student is on track for success. Now I want you to just look at this slide. We'll start over on the left side. In 2018, we set a goal to reduce the percentage of students scoring well below benchmark on DIBELS to be under 15%. We have consistently met that target, and as a result, our focus has now shifted to increasing the percentage of students scoring at or above benchmark, and you can see on the right side, ensuring that they build the literacy foundation needed for success up through high school. This is truly a proud moment for us and our schools. We're going to shift to AASA now. This data shows Deer Valley students outperform state averages in both math and ELA. In math, 51% of students are proficient or highly proficient, with 22% at the high proficiency level, while the state average is just 33.5%. And again, we're talking context here. In ELA, 58% are proficient or higher, with 19% highly proficient, compared to the state average of 40.8%. These results provide important checkpoints of student readiness as they build towards high school expectations and ultimately that ACT, which is our final assessment.
I'll jump in a bit here, Dr. G. So President Carver, members of the board, Dr. Finch, just to add on some additional context in terms of what these scores mean. ADE publishes on their website on the Comprehensive Needs Assessment page, and it shows the achievement for schools in terms of where they should be at based on poverty levels for the district. And so when you see a graph like what you are seeing here and saying that the district is outperforming the state, the next question that should ensue is, are you outperforming the state at the rate that you should be? And so you can see in the graphs from ADE, even on their websites, that they run a simple regression. And so to not get too fancy there, it's just a simple scatter plot showing where folks land with their proficiency scores compared to free and reduced lunch levels. And you can see that Deer Valley consistently now for multiple years is outperforming where it would be expected to perform if it aligned to where everyone else was performing at that particular free and reduced lunch level. So again, it's a true celebration to our principals and our teachers and our support staff for that high level of performance that they are yielding.
Thank you, Dr. Zerbach. All right, this slide shows AASA growth data for grades 3 through 8 measured by student growth percentiles. And this one, if you'll just stay with me, students earn 0 points for low growth, 1 point for average growth, and 2 points for high growth, with the state distribution typically 1/3 in each category. In Deer Valley, more students are moving into the high growth category, earning those 2 points, 36% in ELA and 34% in math. These results highlight the impact of effective instruction and demonstrate that our students are making meaningful year-over-year progress, keeping them on track for long-term success and readiness for ACT. And as Dr. Zerbach said, it truly is our administrators who lead our teachers and our teachers who have solid foundations in their classrooms. Here's another celebration. This chart shows the percentage of ELA growth points earned by each of our schools on the AASA assessment. This one is for ELA. What stands out is that the majority of Deer Valley schools are performing at or above expectations, with many clustered at the high end of the distribution. This means our schools are not only helping students meet proficiency benchmarks, but also moving them forward academically year over year. Strong literacy growth is essential for building the foundation that supports all future academic learning. And when we say year after year, growth is based on what happened last year, and in the same peer cohort, what happened this year.
I think here, what I would like to point out is if you look at the schools that are on the right side of the graph, first of all the schools are doing well in terms of percentage of points earned. But if you look at the right side and see the batch, the schools that are on there really are a slice of all of our schools. So you see some of our Title I schools that are listed there, and you see some of our schools that are not Title I, that they're all achieving or having a chance to achieve at that highest level of the 90 to 100% of the points that are available.
We'll slip to math now. This chart highlights the percentage of math growth points earned by each Deer Valley school, again on AASA. As you can see, many of our schools are earning growth points at very high levels, with a significant number clustered near the top of the distribution again. This demonstrates that across the district, students are not only maintaining their learning pace, but accelerating their progress in math. Strong growth in mathematics builds the problem-solving and reasoning skills students will need for continued success in high school courses and on into college and career pathways. Science achievement is a point of pride in Deer Valley, with 53% of 5th graders and 52% of 8th graders proficient in science. Deer Valley is preparing students with problem-solving and critical thinking skills essential for STEM success. These results, well above state averages and our peer districts, show our students are building readiness for advanced coursework in high school and beyond. Now we're going to jump into some K-8, some pretty cool K-8 highlights. One of the programs that is one of our signature programs is our dual language immersion programs. Immersion programs benefit students by strengthening overall learning. Our Mandarin and Spanish immersion students not only show very high English language arts proficiency, reaching up to 90% in some campuses, but they also demonstrate stronger growth than their non-immersion peers. Learning in 2 languages builds advanced literacy skills, deeper comprehension, and greater academic resilience that extends across all content areas. In mathematics, Deer Valley's dual language immersion students also excel, achieving strong proficiency and growth. Dual language learning enhances memory, reasoning, and abstract thinking, skills that are directly tied to math problem solving. Immersion students apply these strengths to accelerate their progress, demonstrating that the benefits of bilingualism extends well beyond language into quantitative learning as well. Another one of our signature programs is the Renaissance Highly Gifted Academy. This chart compares ELA proficiency and growth for Renaissance and non-Renaissance students. As expected, our Renaissance students show extremely high proficiency rates with scores in the mid-90s to 100% across campuses, and we would expect that of our highest learners, well above their non-Renaissance peers. What is especially notable, however, is that Renaissance students are also demonstrating strong growth, with median growth percentiles that in some cases exceed those of non-Renaissance students. This means that even our highest achieving students are continuing to make meaningful academic progress year after year, not just maintaining their progress. The next slide is for math. Even with exceptionally high math proficiency rates, Renaissance students continue to show strong growth, with median growth percentiles in the 60s at some campuses. This demonstrates that our highest achieving math students are not only maintaining excellence, but are being challenged and supported to keep advancing. I did want to share a little bit about our gifted identified learners. In the 24-25 school year, Deer Valley identified 840 students for gifted and talented services at the 97th percentile or higher. The state requires that districts identify students at the 97th percentile or higher. And when we include talented students who fall just below that threshold, a total of 1,432 students across kindergarten through 12th grade students were identified. We know that identification is essential so that students receive the right supports and challenges, and with the goal of preventing disengagement, addressing unique learning needs, and helping this student population reach their highest potential. We're going to jump just a little bit into multi-tier systems of support. MTSS is the framework we use to guide academic and behavioral supports, but in our district across all of our schools, it represents more than a structure. It reflects our commitment to every student. Truly for us, all means all in Deer Valley. By aligning instruction, intervention, and progress monitoring, we ensure that all students have the right support at the right time to grow, learn, and thrive. I'll give you just a little a definition for each. Multi-tier systems of support provides a tiered system of supports to meet students' needs wherever they are. Tier 1 ensures high-quality, first-best instruction for every student. Tier 2 offers targeted small group help for fewer students. And Tier 3 delivers the most intensive support with specialists. This framework allows us to take action so that every learner is supported and able to succeed in our schools. Since the COVID year, we have focused heavily on positive behavior systems, and that focus is making a measurable impact. You can see that the percentage of students in grades 3 through 8 who feel they belong at school has risen from 79% to 83%. A strong sense of belonging fostered through each of our schools' multi-tier systems of support behavior systems, and Dr. Zerbach can talk a little bit more about that, builds engagement, motivation, and most important, persistence, which in turn drives academic success, personal growth, and readiness for the future outlined in our portrait of a graduate. Do you want to add anything, Dr. Z?
Again, I don't think this slide is unfamiliar to the board. You've seen the results from the MTSSB. Again, I probably would just give many thanks and credit to our campus staff again, to our admin, our teachers, our support staff. This is a lot of work to go into this particular system, to stick to it, to implement the structures that are needed to do this year after year and sustain this type of growth. So kudos again to the staff of the campuses.
Our work with MTSSB is strengthening student self-efficacy, a belief that I can do it. As students build confidence in their ability to learn and overcome challenges, they grow greater effort, resilience, and achievement, which in turn supports stronger results across academics and assessments that you've seen. This growth overview reflects both achievement and opportunities related to Tier 3 reading. So this chart is really from our NWA assessment last year, and we're focusing on Tier 3 reading and eventually math. Students on average exceeded typical growth with 103. Students on average grew more than expected with 117 of typical growth achieved. 53% of students met or exceeded typical growth, and 34% demonstrated accelerated growth. These results confirm that our approach with first best instruction at Tier 1 and then Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports is making a meaningful difference for student learning. When we look at the Tier 3 interventions we have for math, that would be Do the Math and Read Math 180. This growth overview reflects the impact of strong Tier 3 math instruction and targeted supports specifically in grades 2, 3, and 4. In the fall of 2024, 595 of the students receiving Do the Math intervention as their Tier 3 instruction were 2 or more grade levels below. In the spring of 2025, 325 students of those increased at least 1 grade level. Of the 180 students that were 3 or more grade levels below in the fall of 24, 104 increased at least 1 grade level. These results confirm once again that Tier 3, that approach, is making a meaningful difference for student learning. We expect in Tier 3 that our students minimally make greater than 1 grade level approach, but when we can hit more than 1 grade level approach, we know that kids are really doing well.
And again, for the board, I would just add in here, if you're making connections between slides that Dr. G talked about earlier, if these internal systems that we have with our curriculum are working, then the graph that you saw with the growth of low growth, average growth, and high growth, there should be a correlation to a lower than 33% percentage of students that are in the low growth, because the state by definition, and again I'm getting a little bit into the weeds here as far as how they determine growth, but the state has to have 33.3% of the students that are there in that low growth. And so if we're surpassing that, then we're getting an additional indicator that these systems are also translating to the state exams, which they are.
We're going to step into a few of our programs that are available for our kids, and that's STEM education. Through engineering design and hands-on computer science, our K-8 students learn to solve complex problems with creativity and technology. By the time they enter high school, they are better prepared for rigorous coursework and future opportunities to lead and innovate. Over the past 3 years, Deer Valley has expanded access to computer science, culminating this past year in 24-25, with grade-level specific computer science resources at each school, each grade level. Students use these resources to further develop their proficiency and content area skills. Students at 7th and 8th grade further investigate STEM within their exploratory courses, and learning extends through participation in robotics competitions. During last school year, Deer Valley hosted our first district competition for students to showcase their skills. In collaboration with CTE leaders, this event provided a venue for students to engage in computer competition beyond their classroom and visibility for parents of the progression of STEM from middle school into high school. Campuses hosted a record number of STEM events during the 24-25 school year. These events celebrated the integration of STEM across multiple disciplines by showcasing student projects, community partnerships, and the STEM learning that takes place at our schools. In Deer Valley, STEM learning cultivates essential skills such as problem solving, collaboration, and critical thinking, the soft skills that our businesses ask us for. During Computer Science Education Week in December, our annual partnership with USAA continued as 42 volunteers led engaging coding session for 71 classrooms in grades 2 through 6 with students. Through these hour of code sessions, students heard about the volunteers' professional experience with technology and participated in a creative coding lesson. New this past year, our CTE student ambassadors from the high school software and app development programs led middle school STEM exploratory classes in a text-based coding lesson, thereby firming up middle school through high school competencies. Early CTE, or career and technical education, along with STEM opportunities, allows our elementary and middle school students to see how classroom learning connects to future careers. With ambassador visits, robotics competitions, computer science days, and strong community partnerships, Deer Valley is creating pathways from kindergarten through 8th grade through high school CTE programs. We are especially grateful to the Deer Valley Education Foundation and Marie for their $50,000 STEM and Career Exploration Grant, which makes many of these opportunities possible. The upcoming slides provide just a glimpse into the excellence happening every day in our K-8 schools. While not an exhaustive list, these regional highlights showcase how students and staff are excelling in academics, arts, athletics, and community service, showcasing the talent and dedication of Deer Valley students and staff in every one of our regions. The Barry Goldwater region shines with Union Park's Spelling Bee win, district sports titles, and top band ratings. Village Meadows earned the PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Supports Award. Paseo Hills marked 25 years of Veterans Day celebrations, and Norterra Canyon staged the Lion King Jr. Sonoran Foothills achieved top math growth and strong athletic finishes, while the region also celebrated Deer Valley Education Foundation Teachers of the Year. Highlights from the Boulder Creek region include Mary Killebrew's Silver Apple Award, Brittany Sutton, who was here earlier this evening's Principal of the Year recognition, and Desert Mountain's Female Athlete of the Year. Diamond Canyon celebrated the Battle of the Books win and the Deer Valley Education Teacher of the Year honors, while Canyon Springs earned both Teacher and Rookie of the Years. The Deer Valley High School region celebrates growth and achievement with Arrowhead's ELA and Math Gold Parade, Highland Lake's A+ School of Excellence, and Greenbrier's second place in Battle of the Books. Students also excelled in athletics and enrichment through Highland Lake's Basketball Championship and Mountain Shadows Girls on the Run. The Mountain Ridge region shines with achievements across academics and the arts, from State Vocabulary Bowl and POM titles to Battle of the Books and Spelling Bee honors. Students continue to excel. Terramar's band earned Superior with Distinction, while regional leaders were recognized as Teacher and Assistant Principal of the Year. The O'Connor region highlights include Teachers of the Year, National Board Certification, and an A+ School of Excellence at Stetson Hills. Achievements span academics, arts, and athletics, from Superior with Distinction band honors to the Gecko Gala Fine Arts Celebration, capped by Las Brisas' recognition as an A-rated school. As you've heard throughout this presentation, we celebrate 3 key points of pride: consistently outperforming the state in proficiency, demonstrating strong student growth beyond state expectations, and beginning K-3 students ahead of national averages in early literacy. Just as we've emphasized in our high school, we also look ahead. Our priorities are to continue closing achievement gaps, address grade level variability, and ensure all students keep growing through targeted supports. The achievements we've shared from our K-8 grades demonstrate how academic growth, confidence, and belonging come together to prepare our students for their high school years. By sustaining this momentum, we ensure every student continues their journey toward college, career, and life success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Galligan. Any questions or comments from the board for Dr. Galligan on this topic? Dr. Pack?
First of all, thank you for the data. I love data. I did have a question on slide number 20, the gifted and talented slide. I was curious why the cognitive abilities test was used for the second graders and for fall and spring, but yet the NGAT was used for first grade.
President Carver, Mrs. Pack, Dr. Pack, excuse me. We have always had the cognitive abilities test. That's been here since I was a teacher 38 years.
Right.
Just recently, we added the primary grades, even our preschool, and the NGAT is the one we've selected to use. It's the most efficient one and effective one we found.
So going forward, will we have the NGAT data? Like if we do this again to compare data, or is it?
Oh, absolutely. We've done the NGAT now for 2 years, so we do have some data there. Would you like me to provide that for you?
That would be great, thanks.
Okay, we can do that.
At your leisure. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mrs. Fisher?
I'm glad to see the growth that you're showing, because it does show when I look at the state as well. I'm only looking at 11th graders because you just have to pick one to get a window. 2 years ago, we were at 50% that fell below proficiency at all. The year before, a year after that, it was 52, and we're down to 42 now. So that means we have made significant. But my concern is we compare ourselves to the state, we compare ourselves to other districts. But what I want to know is, what are we doing to make sure that we're comparing ourselves to our kids to our kids, their proficiency? I think it's wonderful because we are turning out more students that are proficient than say other districts. Maybe not as much as some, but more than most public LEA. But what are we doing to catch the 42% that are below proficiency?
President Carver, Mrs. Fisher, as I mentioned, our multi-tier systems of support, we have built a strong foundation across our schools, and I would say that has been over the last 4 years since COVID, where we have made great strides in our master schedules across K-8, where Tier 2 is showcased. I mean, they have to have Tier 2 identified in their master schedule, minimum 25 minutes upward to 45 minutes. That was never there before. Tier 2 we know is so very important because it's for those kids who just needed an extra touch from Tier 1. They just didn't get it the first time, but with that extra touch they do. But what I want to emphasize is there were years where Tier 3 students may not have received Tier 2. So we were jumping over Tier 1 to Tier 3. The goal and what we have worked so diligently for gen ed kids, special ed kids, EL kids, is that all children get Tiers 1, 2, and 3. First best instruction, the intervention that's needed at Tier 2, and then remediation at Tier 3. And then for our special ed and our EL learners, they have the added foundation of working with their EL specialists or their special education teachers. So I understand what you're asking. We have taken a diligent step forward since COVID, even before COVID, but since COVID, to ensure that all 3 tiers of instruction. When you ask compared to our kids, our kids to our kids, I think you can see that. I mean, we can pull from every single one of our schools how they've done proficiency. But really, when you compare proficiency from one year to the next year, those are different children. You can't compare them. But when you look at growth, you are looking at the same student from the previous year to this year and how much growth they have made in their cohort, their peer cohort within the AASA. So we do look at our students compared to themselves and our students compared to other students in that same peer cohort on AASA, on AZ-SCI, on ACT, on ACT Aspire.
My concern is the one test that I actually liked was when we had the AZ Merit, or no, it wasn't the AZ Merit, it was the Ames. where you either were proficient and ready to graduate, or you weren't and you didn't graduate. You still graduated, but you didn't get a diploma, you got a certificate of completion, because that gave those students the opportunity to make up that little extra. We don't have anything, from what I can tell, that is going to show that we are turning out a proficient senior. And that's why I'm asking the question. I'm glad to see that there's growth, because that means that we have more that are already proficient in 11th grade. But I just want to make sure we're not graduating them and then they're not ready. And so that's why the question, but I do appreciate the response.
That was the presentation at the last school board meeting, with Deer Valley scoring 19.5, which is above the elite in the nation and the national average of 19.4.
No, it doesn't agree with the state. I'm looking at the state along with what we're talking about.
Any further questions or comments for Dr. Galligan? Mr. Bodfeld?
Odd question. The top 3 points of pride, can that be done with public relations? Do we have somebody who can send something out with that?
President Carver, Mr. Botfeld, absolutely we can work with them. Last board meeting, Ms. Simicek asked if we could put the presentation for our high school on the website, and it is on the website. It's in DVUSD Makes a Difference, DVUSD Difference, and we can do the same thing with the Points of Pride. We could even put this whole presentation, because it's such a celebration for our teachers and our students and our families.
Thank you.
Anything further? Ms. Simicek?
No.
Okay. Dr. Galligan, thank you as always. Appreciate the awesome information.